The dictator trusted few people and was obsessed by his personal security.
Even his family, they don't know where he's going. I remember once his second wife, I did an operation for her, and I used to go and see her, for follow-up. She, herself, she was telling me that, why people, they envy her that, she is associated with Saddam Hussein. And she said, then look to my life. She got 2 suitcases ready in the guest room. She said, every day I have to prepare these 2 suitcases here, and I don't know where I'm going.
The ruling Baath Party had strict secular roots, and religious leaders that opposed the regime were executed. Saddam didn't practice religion, but during the Gulf War the dictator turned towards God.
He believes now everything was happening now, it is from God. Even invasion of Kuwait, he said, is from God. And he genuinely believed that God put in his mind that he has to invade Kuwait. So it is easy. Everyone can refer good or bad things to God. And then you can't argue.
It's a mystery for Dr. Bashir that Saddam Hussein didn't understand the discontent among Iraqis after the Gulf War. The violent uprising among the Shia Muslim population in the south came as a shock for the dictator.
He was very, very upset and very depressed, because he really thought that all Iraqis, they like him. And he believes that, all Iraqis love him. And he was very depressed to see this uprising going on. And he couldn't believe it. Because he thinks that, when head of a tribe said, we support you as a man, he took his word as a man, and he trusts him. While this is rubbish, of course. People, they voluntarily come and dance and shout, of support. This is the social system it became, unfortunately, in Iraq like this.
Saddam felt betrayed, and he told al-Bashir that he was having problems even with his own security guards.
He said, I got problem even with my guards. But this problem started to get bigger and bigger. Then he gave an example. He said, if you have a small puppy, this puppy you can kick, you can shout at, you can do whatever you like with him. When this puppy become an adult shepherd dog, very strong, you hesitate to shout at him sometimes. What happens if you have more than 100 shepherds around you?
Saddam had severe problems with his son Uday. Uday was obsessed by money and by beautiful women. At his private clinic, Dr. Bashir had to treat several of Uday's mistresses. One day a girl turned up with burns.
When I saw these burns, it was 2 burns, about 5 centimeters in diameter, circular, just like disc, on both sides of her buttocks. She said, I fell on the stove, and got this way. But it was obvious. It was punishment by Uday, because this is what he usually used for the people whom he wanted to punish. He treated them badly, because I remember one girl, she came with injury to her finger, I think a ring finger. She said, while she was with him in the bed, he put her finger between the trigger of the pistol, between the trigger and the pistol, and shoot her.
Saddam Hussein was hated by many Iraqis. but his son Uday was even more feared. Bashir detested Uday, but saved his life.
He was shot on 12th of December in 96. He went with one of his guards, in the street of Al-Mansur. Usually he's looking after girls, he was shot. When he got into the hospital, his blood pressure was almost zero. One of the doctors who was there, he gave him fluid and sort of thing, and until we came to do the operation for him. Immediately after we finished the operation, blood was everywhere in the theater, on the floor, and gowns, blood, gowns everywhere on the floor. Then Saddam came. At that time, when Saddam arrived, we just finished the operation. So we went to say hello to him, and then he was normal, normal. I thought he would be upset. He was in full control of himself, just like, in normal condition. He was looking at Uday and said, he said, we are right, and they are wrong. This is what he said. And then he kissed him from his forehead and he left. Just like that.
The special relationship between Dr. Bashir and Saddam Hussein was not appreciated by Saddam's sons nor the Ba'ath Party leadership. Dr. Bashir was not from that tribe nor a member of the Ba'ath Party, and he was a Shia Muslim, unlike Saddam's family and most of the high-ranking officials who were Sunni Muslims.
I have a very good relation with the Minister of Higher Education. It's Dr. Humam Abdul Khaliq. He's very nice man, very gentle, very honest man. He was Minister of Higher Education. One day he called me. He said whether I could come over to his ministry. I went there. He said, I just arrived from a cabinet meeting with the president. And he said he spent more than 25 minutes just talking about you and praising you. And then he said, at the end, every minister was hating you, because he said advised everyone, to look at you and as an example and to be like you. He said.
Saddam protected Dr. Bashir from Uday, Qusay and Ba'ath Party officials who despised the doctor. But the special relationship did not help protect Dr. Bashir's relatives.
Well, I lost three of my cousins. They were acting with one of the religious groups, They were taken, they were very young, about 24, 26, three of them. And they were taken and disappeared.
During 22 years as Saddam's doctor, al-Bashir met the dictator frequently and had interesting discussions with him. There were periods when they would meet several times a week.
6 months before the collapse of the regime, he asked me about what people think, of the regime and about the embargo, this thing. He said people they start to hate the regime because everything was very difficult in Iraq. And I said, to be honest about the embargo and the effect of the embargo on the people, from the economic, social, aspect of life. Said most of the Iraqis, they think maybe 20% is the effect of the embargo on people, and 80% is the effect, the bad effect of the government on the people. He said, why you are saying this? How you are saying it? I said, well, this is what I feel from the people. And people I meet, and this is what they say. Then he said, He said the problem I am facing that I know there are a lot of corrupted people in ministries, and I tried my best to bring people who are not contaminated by the administrative bugs. So I choose people from the party. I choose people from the party to bring me over to be deputy minister in ministries. Then after 1 month, I discover that they became even worse than the guy before them.
Throughout the country's history, Iraq has been led by ruthless leaders. Dr. Bashir believes it would take many years before democracy is established. The fabric that Iraq is made out of makes it fruitful ground for dictators.
If you take Saddam as Saddam, in fact, you are taking a sample. Just like, if you want to do any investigation or test, a medical test for any individual, you take 1 cc or 2 cc cubic centimeter from the blood and you do the test. This test, it reflects you the condition of the body was wrong, the whole body. But in fact, you are taking only 1 cc of blood. You are not taking the whole blood. So if you talk about Saddam, in fact, you are taking 1 cc from Iraq. I would say, I feel sad to say, anybody come to govern Iraq and to have absolute power, absolute uncontrollable power for 35 years, he will become just like Saddam, or even worse than Saddam. If you go into look into history of Iraq in depth, and you look honestly and with open mind, you will see this is normal. This is normal because for simple reason, if you just come, you just think, Saddam he was alone. He was one person. He came from very poor family. No support at all. How he became powerful? Because he became powerful and he governed Iraq, and he did all what he have done by Iraqis. By Iraqis.